specialists, plus all makes auto repair, featuring parts, sales, detailing, towing, mechanical, bodywork, paint, and upholstery. For more information, contact Corvette Specialties Auto Group at 580-8388. Cruiser's Pit Stop Diner is also pleased to sponsor Motorsport Monthly. Before or after the race, visit one of Cruiser's 3 locations in Chilliwack, Maple Ridge, and Langley. Call 533-RACE for great food and fun. Cruiser's the place to be. Cruiser's Pit Stop Diner and Corvette Specialties Auto Group are supporters of Racers Against Drugs. Companies with a community conscience working hard to make motorsport a family event. Welcome to Motorsport Monthly and the Molson Indy, Vancouver. As you can see right now, things are underway in preparation for the big race. Roads around the race site were shut down yesterday as kilometers of fencing and concrete barriers were put in place. Beer gardens were set up, and the high iron workers had a bird's eye view of what was to come. The PPG pace car team and pit crews were moving their equipment into place. And the television monitors were being installed for those spectators lucky enough or rich enough to afford the best seats. Broadcast crews were furiously setting up miles of cable and dozens of TV cameras to allow this event to be shown around the world. Today, we will bring you driver interviews along with the sights and sounds of the Molson Indy Vancouver right here on Motorsport Monthly. We're here at the Molson Indy downtown Vancouver. I'm trying to figure this thing out. The first bank machine down here, cash machine down in the Molson site down here. Cash and balance. I don't have an amount. Oh, isn't this a heyday?
Press the button up there.
Hey, look, this is a new thing. Now watch me get totally confused here. You require paper? No, I don't really care. I couldn't care. More paper. Checking. Yes, number 1. What should I get? 60 bucks? Yeah, 60. Watch. It says it's going to take seconds, and we'll see how long it works. Anyway, hey, just to tell everybody, just standing here trying to do this, walking by, Aaron Neville just walked by. The girls went out and got his autograph. Right, girls? Yeah, that's right. They did. They had a heyday. Quite neat. I think he caught everybody off guard. He got money to spend at the Molson Indy. All right, we're on a roll. Look at that. It says take your cash, take your thing. That's it. I'm toast. Good deal. Now we can eat. Let's go. Joining me at the Kmart store right now, the gentleman absolutely needs no introduction behind us, but the gentleman beside me right now to my immediate right, Mr. Chuck Cote, the divisional manager for Kmart stores in British Columbia. Chuck, tell us, was it tough to get him out?
Actually, no. We've got very good cooperation from Mario's management team, and Kmart as a major sponsor. Mario goes around to our different stores and locations where they're racing. And we've had Mario in our location here for the last couple of years.
Now, last year he was here, but a couple of years ago, himself, as well as his son Michael, went to, you were telling me, the Children's Hospital.
Right. The first couple of years we were able to take Mario and then Michael to the Sick Kids Hospital in Vancouver, which was quite a thrill for them. We had the race car there, and the kids came down and signed autographs.
It must be a real nice feeling for the youngsters to come out and see a man that has basically done everything.
Oh, it was. It went over very well, and they were able to bring the children down to the location where the car was, and they signed autographs there along with them.
Joining us, the Kmart store in Surrey, Mr. Mario Andretti. First off, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
How's the final wrap-up tour going for the trip?
Well, it's going quite well. Actually, it's been a very, very interesting year. I felt in incredible amount of support, and the fans have just been fantastic. So it's been rewarding in that respect, and we enjoy coming up to Canada. I've always felt a lot of good support up here, a lot of good race fans up here, and hope we have a good weekend.
We all hope you have a good weekend. You've got a very busy schedule for a man, without sounding facetious. You've got a busy schedule for a man your age.
Well, yeah, it's fairly hectic.
I can say that because you're not far off me.
I obviously, the Molson Indy is putting on a gala event this evening, so that's what we're off to from here. And then, of course, tomorrow, the activities start, and then we get down to serious business.
Of course, you've got a very reputable family also racing. Must be nice racing against your son.
Well, that I think has been extremely interesting in the last few years, because Michael's been very successful, and the fact that we've shared the podium several times together, I think, has been just an absolute dream from that standpoint, and I'm very proud of him. Of course, Michael has had good degree of success up here in Vancouver, and I hope between he and I we can pull something good off tomorrow. We can go home with the trophy on Sunday.
It must be quite the honor being named driver of the quarter century.
Well, indeed that was, of course, and it's just it's one of those things that you never expect, of course, but when it comes down and it's voted by some of your peers and the press, it's just something that, as I say, it's hard to put into words how valuable something like that is, and how much I appreciate it.
Driving, race car driving from when you started, it's changed so radical. There seems to be an awful lot more, aerodynamics involved now.
Well, I think it's much more sophisticated, of course, which is you got to expect that with time. I think this is a computer age, and certainly has found motor racing in a big way. So I think everything that we do is it's much more, I should say, professional in many ways, because you just know more about it. So it elevates everything to the next dimension, and I think it makes it extremely fascinating from the standpoint that it seems like if you stump with a problem and you can't solve it, it's your fault, because somewhere along the line you should be able to, So as I say, you try to surround yourself with the best possible engineering talent, and sometimes when you get, when they understand things properly, you can benefit from it greatly.
Now, when you retire from officially as a race car driver, will you still be involved with one of the teams?
Well, I'm keeping that as an open option. Obviously, it would make sense for me to come back sometime down the road in the future as perhaps a team owner, but those plans, of course, are going to take time, and I want to get the driving out of my system first, and then be concerned about that. And of course, I'm going to be following it very close, because again, my boys are in it.
Well, I tell you, you're doing a marvelous job, and everybody is just amazed at the feats that you've accomplished in all the race car driving you've been involved with.
Well, I'm very thankful for everything that's happened to me. Auto racing has been very good to me over the years, and I count my blessings every day.
Well, I'm no different from anybody else. I'm going to get your autograph as well. Good luck, and God bless you for the weekend, too. Thanks, Mario.
Appreciate it.
Dominic Knobson driving the Vancouver Grizzly car, as it's coming to be known in the city of Vancouver. How's Vancouver been treating you so far?
Well, Vancouver's a terrific city. They put on a great event for us, and we're really happy with our affiliation with the Grizzlies. You know, PacWest is a new team out of Seattle, Grizzlies a new team out of Vancouver, and together we're trying to do the same thing in different sports, so we thought it'd be a great affiliation.
I tell you, it's really going to be a real competitive nature with between Vancouver and Seattle.
Well, I think so. You know, the Supersonics have got an established team and been running, doing very well. But I think the Grizzlies are looking down the road, and so is the PacWest Racing team. We're trying to look towards the future and build some franchises that have value down the road.
We see the mechanics doing frantic work on the car. How's the car been handling for you all weekend?
Well, really pretty good. Friday we had a good day and qualified quite well. Saturday, yesterday we had some problems with it and we fell backwards a little bit. But we're starting 18th for the race today. My teammate Scott's starting 14th, so I think we're in pretty good stead. The main thing here is trying to get past people, and it's a tight, narrow, and a little bit bumpy track, so passing's going to be tough.
Track's a little bumpier compared to most of the tracks you're used to running on?
Well, it really is. Anytime you have a street course, of course, we're dealing with streets that cars drive on every day, and they get a little bumpy. So we do the best we can. We've really worked hard on our suspension this morning to get the car to ride over the bumps, so it doesn't beat us up too bad and allows us to carry a little more speed. So I think we'll be in good shape for this afternoon.
Now, with us watching the mechanics doing a lot of work on the cars and things like that, how you're in constant communication with the pits via the headset?
That's right. I have two people I talk to on the radio, Andy Brown, my engineer, and Russell Cameron, my crew chief, and they'll give me signals and tell me about cars maybe coming up or cars I'm catching up to, and how I can gain some position. We'll talk about pit strategy a little bit. They'll let me know when to come in and pit, but we communicate fairly regularly.
You go from here back to Wisconsin?
Yeah, our race next weekend's Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and then the following weekend in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We have a couple weeks off, and then we finish up the year in Laguna Seca.
So what does Dominic Dobson do on his free time, if per se you have any?
Well, the weekend after Laguna Seca, I'm getting married, so that'll be keep me busy for there. And then this winter we'll have a little bit of time off, and like to just play around. And we're settling into a new home in Seattle, and then of course we start testing again in December or January for next year. So there's not a whole lot of rest for the wicked here.
So what does the future hold for yourself and the team?
Well, as I said, PacWest is a new team. We just started actually 1 year ago at this event. We've built what we think is an incredible organization. We've been blessed that we've been able to hire some very, very good people. We're looking towards the future, and I plan on being involved with the team for many years and helping it grow and be the kind of successful IndyCar team we want.
Now, we were talking earlier on to Wally. You were in the trailer getting, with all the noise, you were in the trailer getting prepared for the race. What does a driver have to do to get himself prepared?
Well, of course, we spent some time with our engineers. We talk about the car setup and what we want to achieve during the race in terms of balance on the car and our pit stops a little bit. And, of course, mentally, we just prepare and think about the race and our strategy a little bit. Although the strategy here when you're starting in 18th is to go as fast as you can and pass as many cars as you can. You don't, not a lot of time to wait around. It's not really an endurance event. It's pretty much a sprint race. So we just really try and get psyched up to go.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule for joining us, and good luck in the race today.
Okay, thank you.
Russell, you're crew chief with Dominic Dobson's team here. Now tell us a little bit about your involvement and how the engine works and what your basic job is.
Okay, yeah. I came along right after the month of May with Dominic Dobson and the PacWest Racing Group, and I'm very pleased to be here. They're a real good group of people, and we've got a lot of talent here. We've got the 94 Lola car with a Ford Cosworth engine. It's really worked well for us this year, and it's been very reliable. The car itself, we've got some new stuff on it. It's been working real well up here. We've kind of got a little bit off step yesterday, and we've got that back this morning. We're real quick in our warm-up on full tanks, and we're looking forward to a good race today.
We were talking earlier on about the onboard computers. The age of the IndyCar has just grown by leaps and bounds. What extent do you see the computer system going in the future?
Well, it's really, I mean, from the mechanic standpoint, sometimes we think it gets carried away. We've got so many wires and things on the cars now, it makes our job really difficult to kind of combat those things. You know, we're working with a lot of heat and a lot of vibration and everything under these engine covers, and we've got a lot of wires running everywhere. So that makes it kind of tough sometimes to route those things and make them so they live, you know, so we can get through a race. But I think computer systems, they just keep growing in leaps and bounds on these cars. Every year we've got great telemetry. It gives us really good information. But some of that stuff we've got to control in a sense, because they're getting so tricky with all the onboard computers that I think some teams are able to hide some of the illegal things. I'm not saying they are, but I think that it could be a thing of the future. It's getting that complex and that elaborate. So, like I said, they're great for us because they give us great information.
What would now, with you being involved with a team like such as you are and the rest of the crew, what's the actual, I guess, without giving real specific hours, how long would your day go?
Well, a typical day in the life of an IndyCar mechanic is approximately 12 to 14 hours, really. I mean, we have such a hectic schedule. We race, right now we're doing 3 races in a row, but typically there's a weekend off in between. But when we leave a racetrack on Sunday night, we fly right back to our facility in Indianapolis, and when the trucks get back with the race cars, we go right to work, and we work our 14-hour days, and we work very hard to get the cars prepared for the next event. I mean, the cars are very high maintenance machine. They have to be completely disassembled after every event for crack checking and things like that, and rebuilding of everything. The motors obviously they come out after 450 miles for a rebuild and things like that. So the maintenance level is just intense. But typically on the season, the mechanics are lucky to see a half a dozen days off during the season. We're working pretty much full time. We're talking about the balance of the IndyCar tire and wheel, and basically we've got Goodyear tires as our supplier of tires this year. Next year, of course, we'll have Firestone back, but they're balanced very similar to a street car tire. They're mounted and dismounted down here at our Goodyear traveling facility, and basically once they're mounted, they put them up on snap-on balancer, I think is what they have, and they spin them and they put a weight on them just like you have on your car tire. We tape them down to keep them from coming off, and they look a little bit some silver tape on it, or if it's black tape, you put a little black tape on it. But yeah, balance is very important. I mean, you can feel a little bit if they're out of balance quite a lot, and it's also very hard on the uprights and the wheel bearings. If a tire is out of balance for very long, the driver will feel it.
Now, we were talking earlier on about the braking systems. We noticed the paint you've got on. You were telling us it's a heat-resistant paint.
Yeah, well, it's a temperature paint, and there's different colors represented different temperatures. There's actually a green that would typically go right in front of the orange here, and that would be the coolest, the orange being the middle temperature, and the pink being the hottest. And what that does for us is that tells us whether the brakes are getting sufficient cooling, and it tells us whether the balance from front to rear is set properly. And that's a heavy-duty 48 vein rotor. That's about as heavy a rotor as you can get for one of these cars, and that temperature paint that is popped off right there, that ran this morning's warm-up is all. So that tells us that the system is working very well, it's cooling well, and that shouldn't give us any trouble at all. They've got a six piston caliper on them now as well, and the braking is just superb on the cars these days.
Now, you were saying with the rotor, you've got the 24 and the 48. What's the difference between the two?
Well, the 24 vein is just a lighter, actually lighter in weight rotor than the 24 vein. It just gets us closer to the 1,550 pound limit where you really want to be. You want the car to be close to that as you possibly can. You don't want to be carrying around any weight that you don't have to, obviously. But when you come to a place like Vancouver that's so brake intensive, you have to have a heavy rotor. It'll actually get so hot it'll break. 48 vein heavy duty rotor like that will provide what we need.
I tell you and the rest of the crew are doing a very commendable job with the car and the team. Good luck in everything you do for the
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Final results for the Players Limited Toyota Atlantic Championship. Results from the Molson Indy Vancouver. First place, David Emperingham. Second place, Greg Ray. Third place, Richie Hearns. Fourth place, Peter Fossetta Jr. Fifth place, Colin Truman. Sixth place, Bobby Carvella. And immediately following the race, we had a chance to talk to the first place finisher from Toronto, David Emperingham. David, solid race right from the start.
Well, it was solid. We weren't quite as strong as Richie, but we plugged away and drove as hard as we could and made sure we were there at the end. Things seemed to go our way after the yellow. I seemed to be a lot stronger. He was losing his brakes, I think, and I was able to get close to him. And then he had a voltage problem, and I was able to get by easily. So then it was a matter of just not making a mistake, not hitting a wall, and coming out on top.
Well, he took the early lead, and you were basically just challenging each other right from the start.
Well, the whole Motomaster team did a great job this weekend. The focus for Vancouver is to is to get the grip out of these hairpins, and I had a really good car.
Basically, the track pretty good?
Track's in good shape. It's, you know, it looks pretty simple with just a bunch of hairpins, but it's very technical, and you really need the car to work well, and you really have to be patient as a driver to get the most out of it.
I guess for the younger people at home watching right now, how does a person get involved in starting racing?
Well, I got started at the racing school level, and there are numerous schools around the country, and for someone that doesn't have a very wealthy family, it's important to go to a school that may have a scholarship program, so if you do well, they'll move you up, and that's exactly what happened to me.
And where do you go from here?
Well, right now I'm certainly proud to be part of Canadian Tire, and they're my sponsor, and we're focusing hard at this championship right now, and I'd like to be in IndyCars soon.
No doubt you won't. You know that you'll get there, and not only do you get sponsored by MotoMaster, I go and do all my shopping there. So, big plug for MotoMaster.
Good stuff.
Thanks very much for joining us,
Thank you.
and good luck.
Thanks.
Results for the PPG Firestone Indy Lights Championship. First place, Andre Ribeiro. Second place, Steve Robertson. Third place, Alex Padera. Fourth place, Pedro Chavez. Fifth place, Greg Moore. And sixth place, Scott Chabot. And immediately following the race, we had a chance to talk to second place finisher from England, Steve Robertson. Steve, good race, tough race there, and 1-2 finish.
Yeah, very tough. You know, obviously, I was looking for the win at the start because I always am. But at the end of the day, I got a bad start, and then my teammate did very, very well. Give him all credit. And then it was a tough job again by Alex. You know, he's had his first pole this weekend, and he drove very, very well. But on this sort of track, with my like say 2 races, 31 points in it at the moment, and you know, fingers crossed, and hopefully the next race will do it.
Is it tough to change for the fluctuation with the ground, with the race course being, you know, paved road versus gravel?
It is very tough, especially you know, the new chicane, because that's totally different in grip level. So you know, my team did a fantastic job, and they are the best out there. There's no doubt about that, and all credit to them.
So, what holds the future for you, just besides finishing on the podium?
Well, first and foremost, I must obviously try and clean the championship. That's my immediate thoughts. After that, you know, obviously, I hope to go IndyCars.
No doubt you will. All the sponsorship, and without the sponsorship, we all know, you know, it'd be tough to survive.
Well, you know, sponsorship is basically 90% of racing, and you know, all credit to my sponsors, guests, you know, because without them, you know, and Crane and Shovel, I basically wouldn't be here, you know, and you don't realise how bad you need those.
Are you enjoying your stay in Vancouver?
You know, this is actually my favourite place to come, believe it or not. You know, I actually absolutely love this place. You know, it's got so much to offer. I spent a few days here before the race, and like I say, it's the best place for me.
Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day.
My pleasure.
Final results for the big race in Vancouver. First place, Al Unser Jr. Second place, Robbie Gordon. Third place, Michael Andretti. Fourth place, Scott Goodyear. Fifth place, McCarroll Gugelman. And sixth place, Ari Lyondike. We're going to leave you with some more results from other races that took place in Vancouver during this Molson Indy. And that's all there is for this month. Thanks for watching Motorsport Monthly. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions on our program, please contact us at Motorsport Monthly, care of Rogers Community 4, Surrey, 10445 138th Street, Surrey, British Columbia, V3T4X3. Fax number 9519391.